huge. He don't listen to anybody. That's the problem. So, and I went back to a couple of games that started.
What
here,
difference does it make that if it's a,
okay,
thank you.
The worst part is it was too short. Yeah.
What were you doing? John just taking time off?
Just took a week off. Just sat around the pool, read books. That might be it.
Yeah, so that was a good suggestion, how you were going to do that.
Okay, perfect. We're good to go. You're ready.
First time we flew since COVID.
Okay, council, I see everyone has returned. I will turn it to the clerk.
Through Mr. Mayor, that brings us to item 12.2.3, Summer Chill Series 2023 Final Report. And the associated recommendation reads, be it resolved that council receive report 2023-0239 Summer Chill Series 2023 Final Report for information, and that council designate the Pelham Summer Chill Supper Market to be held on Thursdays between June to September 2024 in Peace Park as a municipally significant event. That the clerk be authorized to make an application for a special occasion permit for Pelham Summer Chill Supper Market, and that council direct staff to proceed with option blank for the licensed area of the Peace Park, and that council approve road closures on Thursday nights from June 13th to September 5th, 2024 from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. between 39 Pelham Town Square and 31 Pelham Town Square. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Any comments, questions on this item? So, Madam Clerk, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Shelley, Councilor Nesnick.
Hi, yes. So just through you, Mr. Mayor, I guess we need to choose number 1 or number 2 with regards to expand the license area to include the entire Peace Park event area, or was that taken care of by the other pilot project that we just took care of? If it needs to be in this one, I would recommend number 1. So that would be my motion.
To the CAO, perhaps.
No, they're actually separate. Obviously, they relate and they're on the same agenda for that reason. So we're talking about this in aggregate. If that is your intention, you need to support that option at this time.
Okay, thank you. So 2 different items then, obviously.
Correct.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Again, Councilor Wink.
Yeah, so just to make a few comments, I know there are certain people that do not want the license area to be expanded, and I respect their opinion. However, as stated earlier, there's an awful lot of people who are outside of the license area bringing in refreshments on their own, and I know on the Thursday nights during Summerfest when I'm serving, people are saying to me, oh, I can bring this down to my seat, and I would always respond, isn't that a novel idea? So yeah, you can. So there's never been any incidents on Thursday nights at Summerfest with people getting too rowdy or whatever down in the area. Really, it's particularly the ones who really want to hear, if they're not consuming much.
No.
They'll have a beer or a glass of wine and just sit in their chair. They're not ones that are standing at the bar having 3 or 4.
No.
So I agree with Councillor Niznik. I don't have a problem with option 1.
Okay, thank you. And perhaps, can I go to our legal department and any comments you have on this, please?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the question. I just want to make clear that the pilot project that we discussed in the prior staff report is separate, as the CAO indicated, from the proposal to extend the licensing throughout Peace Park during the Thursday night events. And in fact, the way the pilot program will be structured will be to expressly exclude personal alcohol during the town event where the town is selling the alcohol. With that said, I think from an enforcement perspective and a community interest perspective, it makes sense to have the entirety of Peace Park be licensed and available for persons to purchase alcohol from the town and consume it while they're at the event. Easier than staffing every fence point, as Councillor Niznik pointed out, and precluding alcohol from being there. And given that there's no history of events or, of incidents involving alcohol as part of the Thursday night series, my recommendation would be that to simplify life for everyone, that the licensing be extended.
Thank you for that, Ms. Durton. Thank you. Any other councillors? Questions or comments? Councillor Eckert.
Yes, I would be in favor of option 1 as well, especially with the advice of our solicitor. I think the only incidents that I've witnessed there is when people attempt to walk their glass of wine and they get stopped, and then there's always nothing violent or loud or anything, but there's always a discussion about how ridiculous this is, and then the people are forced to drink it quickly or whatever it is. So I would be in favor of option number 1.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from any other councillors? Not seeing it, so I'll turn to the clerk. I believe we need a mover and a seconder.
Yes, that's correct. So it sounds as if option 1 is the preference. So we'd be looking for a mover and a seconder to consider the motion inclusive of option 1.
Okay, I see Council Nesnick, you'll be the mover, and Council Olson, you'll be the seconder, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to you for the vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. If there's no other comments to be made, I'll call the vote. All those in favor of option 1? And I see none opposed, so the motion carries.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That brings us to item 15, bring presentation and consideration of bylaws. Be it resolved, I have a motion put forth by Councillor Wink and seconded by Councillor Olson. Be it resolved that Council of the Town of Pelham, having given due consideration to the following bylaws, now do read a first, second, and third time and do pass same, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign and seal the bylaws. Bylaw 1 being 62-2023, being a bylaw to amend 13-0-2023, confirming various appointments to advisory committees of the Town of Pelham for the 2022-2026 term of council and to appoint members to the Pelham Cultural Advisory Committee. And bylaw 63-2023, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 4481-2022 as amended to rezone lands located at 56 Fillmore, legally described as Lot 107 on Plan 59M403, Town of Pelham, from the residential 164 zone to a site-specific residential 128 zone. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on these bylaws? Seeing any? All those in favor? None opposed, motion carries.
Through Mr. Mayor, that brings us to item 16, and we have a motion on the agenda put forth by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Councillor Niznik, and I will read this into the record. Whereas the downtown Fenwick has 17 decorative street lights, 12 LED, and 5 gaslit, and whereas Council for the Town of Pelham recognizes that the gaslit street lights are costly to maintain due to glass replacement and operational costs, as well as the inability to produce sufficient lumens. Now therefore be it resolved that Council directs staff to prepare a report for Q1 of 2024, providing for efficient and sustainable options to replace the existing streetlights in Fenwick. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Clerk. Any comments or questions? Before I do that, go ahead. I'll go to the motion to the mover. Councilor Hildebrand, sorry.
Thank you, through Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to go back to these gas-lit lamps. The staff originally did not recommend these gas-lit lamps. It was a council decision, from what I have, to decide to install these gas-lit lamps as part of the update of the Fenwick area. The financing for the gas-lit lamps was donated. I'm not sure to what percentage, but there was a donation given for these gas lamps. I did talk with the donor, and the number one complaint was the lights are always out. Now, I don't think that's an accurate reflection of what they really are, but their complaint is they're always out. This is not a public works issue, seeing as Ryan is here. It's not a public works issue, but it's an issue with regards to parts are difficult to obtain, and the parts are expensive as well. The cost-wise, for the gas perspective, just to have a gas account, and these 5 lit gas lights have an account, that gas account costs $77 plus all the taxes associated with it, just for the 5 lit lamps. So the cost in '22 for running these gas lit lamps was $1,904. As of June, can't remember what time in June, we had already spent $1,095 just on the gas bill for these lamps. Contractors personnel who installed the lights stated that electrical line was installed by each one of these lamps, so there should be no problem converting it, whether we want to convert it to the same LED lights as we have or to an off-the-grid solution. In summary, I believe in today's environment, burning natural gas in an open flame to create light, which is very insignificant, by the way, other than the look it creates, is something that council needs to address, and I think we should look for a staff report that provides us with alternatives for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I will go to the seconder, Councilor Nesnick. Any further comments? No. Oh, okay. Thank you. Debate on the motion then. Councilor Olson, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, speaking from the Fenwick side of paradise, I want to deliver another contrary view to this, because these are, I went down there last night and all 5 of the lights are operating. I find the other lights to be a little bit bright and garish myself. They add to the character of downtown Fenwick, such as it is, a small area, but there's nothing nicer than a winter evening and seeing the snowfall, and you come out of a restaurant and you got those nice lights. I would like to see the report, if we do a report, to say what can be done to optimize the lights, because I think they could be enhanced a little bit. I'm not sure, but the mantles and everything are there. They're all operating. And before we do that, and take into account the aesthetics of the town, because, you know, standardization, it just removes individuality, and the downtown of Fenwick is a pretty individual area, and I think that should be considered. And this motion doesn't include that. It just includes straight up and down costs and what the operational costs are, and if they're still working and they're working well enough, I wouldn't replace them.
So I'll go to the mover. I guess one of the options when the staff report comes back, just as we've seen in the pilot project, would be an option to stay the same. I suppose that would be an option also listed. Do you see that, to Councilor Hildebrand?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a staff report in the first quarter
Yep.
to be
Okay.
complete and give us the options so this council can decide what they want to do.
Excellent.
Obviously, I'm looking for, from a savings standpoint, but the other LED lights basically have the same design.
Okay.
But if you don't like bright LED lights,
Yeah.
I mean, the lumens that come off these gas-lit lights are insignificant.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, they really don't light the way.
Ah.
But they do, they are beauty, no
Yeah.
question about it.
Okay, excellent, thank you for that. Any other, so yeah, I will vote for this motion, but I would also like to make sure that we do have the option that if council so decides that we stay the status quo. But other than that, yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, Councilor Hildebrand?
Possibly, we could have the manager of Public Works comments. Through Mr. Cook.
Any further comments, Mr. Cook?
Yeah, through the mayor, I really don't have any comment at this time. We will prepare a fulsome report on the lamps and number of options that we can provide you to make a decision.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, I will call the vote on the motion. Not seeing any other hands, we will, all those in favor of the motion for a staff report, please raise your hands. Thank you, and that is unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. To the clerk.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I do understand that you yourself would like to bring a verbal notice of motion this morning.
Oh, yes, indeed.
That would be the time.
So the verbal motion will be very short. There are sidewalks in Font Hill, sidewalks in Fenwick, and they do not meet. So I'm going to be bringing a staff report to see if what the feasibility and cost of having the sidewalk from Fenwick join up with the sidewalk in Font Hill. I did have numerous people during my last campaign state that we had numerous bike trails, which they thought was great, but they thought that our two main urban areas should be connected with a sidewalk. So I am bringing a motion to see for a staff report in the Q2 to see what the feasibility of that would be. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That does bring us to item 17, a resolution to move in camera. I have a motion put forth by Councillor Hildebrand, seconded by Councillor Wink. Be it resolved that the next portion of this meeting be closed to the public in order to consider a matter under Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act as follows. Labor relations or employee negotiations, one item, QP 1287, and advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, one item, Redican compliance. To you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this motion? Not seeing any. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries. We will now be going into closed session.
Thank you. Please allow me a moment to end the stream.